Hey guys, Boogie2988 here, and this is an open letter to the folks who I'm in contact with at EA. I know a handful of people there who develop for them, a few people in the marketing department, a few people that I've shaken hands with at the PlayStation 4 launch. And it's been a while since I've been wanting to make this video, but today I got pushed over the edge to make that video. I had to make a little Francis rage about the new Dungeon Keeper game, and so I thought it's time that you and I had to sit down and talk EA. Um, Consider this an intervention, as it would, as it were. It's kind of like watching my drunk alcoholic cousin destroy himself. I feel like I have to sit down and write you this letter to tell you how you've personally hurt me and how you've hurt other gamers that are important to me, so that maybe we can correct the behavior and get you guys back on the right track. And I want to start off by saying that I want to say something controversial. I love EA games. I absolutely do. I grew up on your games. I remember Mule and the original SimCity. I loved you during your Command and Conquer era. You guys have done some amazing work and you've done some great stuff. And even today, the games that you come up with, you bought out PopCap, and PopCap came up with the Plants vs. Zombies 2, which was not a great offering, but at least it was more Plants vs. Zombies. Peggle for my Xbox One, fantastic game. Love it so much. I'm looking forward to Garden Warfare. You guys do good work, and I'm excited for your games. But you've also made some big mistakes. And the reason I'm making this letter is because in November 2013, you guys were voted as worst company in America for the second year in a row, which was pretty bizarre to you and pretty bizarre to me, especially since you were up against Bank of America. But that's a whole other thing. We'll get into that another day. But you guys have made some pretty classic mistakes in 2013 and 2012, and you guys said that you never wanted to be voted worst company in America again. And you guys have done some great stuff, by the way. Your work with equal rights, your charitable donations, this stuff has been phenomenal. I'm going to give you absolute credit for it. Where you're screwing up is on the gaming front, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And the very first thing, obviously, I want to talk about is the new Dungeon Keeper app. And this is it's not a bad game. It's coded well. It's okay, but the reliance on microtransaction is the fault. And there were some reliance on that in Plants vs. Zombies 2, and in the majority of your later launches. Tetris certainly comes to mind. And I understand it. I get it. Someone at your company last year said that this is what mobile gaming is, and we either embrace it or we lose. And I get that. I get that I'm not your target audience with Dungeon Keeper. I'm the guy who played the original Dungeon Keeper. I'm older. I'm not used to all these microtransactions, which is really weird because I used to stick quarters in Pac-Man all day to play it over and over again. I actually am very used to microtransactions, but he still said that. And we're targeting a new audience who's grown up with mobile gaming and is used to microtransactions and is used to pay to win and pay to play. And I get that because when I look at the reviews for Dungeon Keeper, I see over 1,000 5-star reviews. So certainly that audience has found your game, and you have found that audience. But why did it have to be Dungeon Keeper? You know, let's call it what it is. You've created a Clash of Clans clone, or I like to call it the cash-in clone. The reality of it is, we both know that that's the exact demographic you were going for because you made an exact copy of that game with a Dungeon Keeper theme. And I've played both games to an extent, and I can tell you that I really prefer Dungeon Keeper. It's a much more entertaining game with a much better style. It's got its points. But why did it have to be Dungeon Keeper? Because for a gamer like me who is emotionally and mentally invested in that wonderful franchise, this is an abomination. This is a slap in the face. And I get it that you want to make money. You want to make money. You want to make money, and we'll talk about that. Your other big transgression at the end of 2013 is, of course, Battlefield 4, and everybody it's common knowledge now that you guys pressured the studio to make sure that game was released in a time frame that would be most profitable for you. You wanted to make sure that it was out before the new Call of Duty. You wanted to make sure it was out in time for the new console generation, so you could sell it twice on 360 and again on Xbox One, or PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Your PC port was abysmal. Because of this, it suffers. So much was wrong with Battlefield 4, and it's simply because you rushed it. And you rushed it to maintain profit. And it's simply not acceptable because Battlefield 4 is your cash cow. It's your nearly yearly updated shooter that clones what Activision is doing and makes you a buttload of money if it's done, if it's complete, if you give the users a positive experience. And we're not going to talk about Battlefield Premium, which is also a cash-in. We're not going to talk about how money-grubbing the entire system is. The fact that I got my Battlefield 4 copy home for my PlayStation 4, and I want to play the plain-only game, and I can't without buying Premium. I want to simply say that these two things are a symptom of a greater problem. And I think we all know what that problem is, but we're not willing to talk about it. The people at charge of the company are interested in raising profit margins for their own bonuses to make sure the shareholders are happy, to make sure that the people who are in charge of that kind of thing are seeing a nice big profit margin and making the people who own the company very, very wealthy. And I know that's important to you. I understand money. This YouTube video that I'm making right now is designed to make me money. This is my job. So I can't condemn you for wanting to make money. But the YouTube videos that I make are often entertaining. Sometimes they're interesting. Sometimes they do good things and make good changes in the world. And sometimes I think even some of the videos I've made have been beautiful. And I think that's possible for you too. You are electronic artists, and the games you should be making shouldn't be designed about taking advantage of people who can't wait 24 hours to mine a block, and it shouldn't be about rushing a game to make sure that it's completed in time to reach the most profitable window. They should be works of art. So I want to issue a challenge to you. Before the end of 2014 comes around and it's time for us to vote for worst company in America again, I want you to release one game, one of the games that's currently in development, and tell the developers to strip the microtransactions and DLC and bullshit out of it. Let them create a beautiful story, let them work on it to their heart's content, and release it when it's done. And if you can do that, if you can show us that that one game is in you still, then we can love you again. Because the reality of it is, I'm not ready to give up hope. I've loved you for as long as I can remember, and I want to continue to love you guys. You do good things, whether it's buying up companies that are no longer going to exist if you don't intervene, by continuing licenses that otherwise would have disappeared, even if this atrocity of a mobile app is what you have to do with it. The fact that you're in gaming, the fact that you are involved, the fact that you continue to hire hundreds and thousands of game developers and marketing and create profit for America, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. I love you for it. But I'd also like to love you for your games. I'm not ready to give up hope, even if a large number of the people that work for you clearly have. Good luck. I'm really looking forward to Garden Warfare, by the way.